Peace stars, what's up? It's your boy Eru. We got a special guest today. We got Mo Knicks takes, man, from Twitter. We also got State too, man. So I'm gonna pop in State to see if he's working. Yo, State, can you hear me? There goes State. You know what I'm saying? You already know how it is, man. So we're gonna get it popping. Bring Mo in here. What's good, Mo?
What's up? What's up? How are you, man?
Chilling, chilling, man. So I know you. I know you to be a good dude, man. So I met you once, through State, because he had his little hoodies for the what was it, the Mighty Fourth
Mighty
Seed.
fourth seat hoodie, the best hoodie I own, man.
So I actually hand delivered it to you. I went all the way from where he works at all the way to deep in Brooklyn to give you the thing, man.
Yeah,
But
man.
it was worth it because you hooked me up.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
worth it when you went out for a long drive, man. You ended up getting that nice car wash.
Mhm.
Took care of you, man. I appreciated it.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, so people can't really tell by the way you look, when you're on the screen or just hearing your voice and stuff like that. But you look like a fucking lumberjack in person. You know what I'm saying? So like everyone that likes to pop shit on Twitter, likes to talk a lot of shit and stuff like that. Sometimes you gotta chill out, man, because you see these guys in person, and you're freaking like Paul
It's a
Bunyan
big
and shit.
difference.
Yeah, big difference there. Yeah, man. So we're gonna get State in here in a few. He got to get his computer stuff together. I just hit him up, man. I'm gonna hit him up now to tell him just get his phone popping, and we could just get it going like that. But we're gonna talk about the draft and stuff like that. So what's like let's say like a roundabout take about the draft. What do you think about what's happening now with the Knicks?
I mean, I feel it can go different ways from people that I've been speaking to. Everyone's high on Jaden Ivey. I mean, Knicks fans are always going to be worried. We'll have that PTSD, we'll have that trauma. And whenever we talk to each other about stuff, I mean, I think it's pretty usual. Like you expect the Knicks to do nothing because there's been multiple times that they could do something and they haven't. But I don't know, man. As much as people hate the front office, I know there's a lot of questionable moves that they made, especially with Mitchell Robinson this season. Trade deadline happened. He wasn't moved. He doesn't accept his qualifying offer. He becomes unrestricted. What's the situation with Mitch, right? And then you start talking about the draft coming up now, and we have these vets that we think that we want to move. Like, there's a lot of things that can happen. I mean, I have my own takes. I feel like everyone's takes are different, but I want to know what your takes are. What do you think about it?
Well, me, I just want forward progress. You know what I'm saying? For me, it's just draw a line in the sand and then let's just go. I don't care. Let's say if the Knicks want to go crazy and get more vets and just double down and get another Julius Randle level guy to add to RJ. If they want to do that, fine. But if they decide they want to get rid of Julius and double down on the youth and really build that way, I'm good with that too. I just want to just double down on one path and just hit it. Like football, hit the hole and just go for it. You
No,
know.
you're right. Direction to me is the most important thing. I mean, I've been pretty happy with what the front office has done the past two drafts. We've hit well with Grimes, we've hit well with Mitch, we've hit well with IQ, we've hit well with these guys. And Leon's shown during draft night when everyone thought that he was quiet, not speaking, not saying a word. During draft night, he made some moves that no one expected, and they came out to be some decent role players. Now, to me, the direction is that the Knicks have been moving forward. I mean, we didn't have a terrible season. We were 37 and 45. 37 45. We won one game in February. Okay, so to me, like I feel like the production's there, but Knicks fans are so to the we need to be in the playoffs, we need to do this because we're that almighty fourth seed. And that's where I give all the shout out to State, because that fourth seed really put a lot into some Knicks fans' head. But what Knicks fans don't realize is that this is the first time in the last decade you have 8 assets under the age of 24. You have 15 draft picks in the next 3 years. You should be happy, but I agree with you that the most important thing is focusing on a direction.
Yeah, especially like say like the moves. Everyone always says like the Knicks always draft wrong. We always get the wrong player. Mitch Robinson was a second round pick. Now people seem to want to give him $20 million over 6 years or whatever the hell, whatever random take that people come up with. So we've been doing well picking up these guys. So we just right now we just have to clean up what we're doing now and just pick that path and stuff. So let me just throw something at you because I mean we're talking about Jaden Ivey and all these other stuff, man. But let me just throw this random guy here because this is draft time. So we're gonna get all these takes, all these what do you want to say like reports and stuff. You ever heard of Adonis Arms? Who the fuck is Adonis Arms, bro? You know what I'm saying? He had a Knicks workout, and this is him on his on Twitter, on IG. Really, he posted this in his story saying that he had his workout. His name is Adonis Arms, man. 6-year uh college player coming into the NBA. Never
Texas
heard of
Tech.
him. You ever heard of him?
I think Texas Tech.
Yes, Texas Tech. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but like maybe these picks are probably people that are looking at the second round, but I didn't even know they were working him out.
Yeah, I mean, to me personally, I've never heard of the dude. Texas Tech. I'm familiar with a lot of the college team stuff, but just like that's not a play that ever stuck out to me. And then I had to do a quick Google search. And I mean, I think the guy I think he cracked the 10-point mark the year before, and then this year I think he had like 8 points a game or something like that. So he's not like an impact player or anything. He has like everybody has a mixtape. I got a mixtape. I got a mixtape somewhere on Instagram that I posted
Yeah,
a couple
yeah,
years ago. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
it's just that time of the year, for all that stuff. You have any obscure players that you think about, like an Adonis that you think might have an outside chance of making an NBA team?
No, no. To be honest, I haven't really focused on like late second rounders or people that might go undrafted.
Mhm.
I've just focused on first rounders. I try realistically thinking what's going to benefit our team. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like
Well,
again, like I feel like my views are very different than everyone else's views, and I feel like people get pissed off when I explain it. But I basically like I have a theory behind all of it, and I just uh, that's just the way that I am.
yeah, I'm here for all of it. I like to hear everybody's opinion, especially this is a guy that everybody hates, Raf Diaz, man. They always snapping on him on Twitter, man. They always giving him the
We have
business.
Ralph in the chat, man. We have Ralph in that 50-person thread on Twitter. So
Yeah,
Ralph pops in once every couple of hours, and
yeah.
he hits us with a little punchline, man. But that's
Yeah, but
Ralph.
he's great though, man. That's what it's all about. We all having fun with the Knicks, coming up with different takes and stuff like that. Meanwhile, my
Yeah,
son is freaking dying in the other room. What the hell is going on over there? He wasn't coughing all day. Now he's coughing his head off right now. Yeah, man.
I
So
don't even hear him.
okay. Well, I hear him like crazy. He's like having an asthma attack or something. But what do you think about Jaden Ivey? Do you think it's a possibility for us to make that trade to bring him over into the Knicks?
Yes, yes. My reasoning is that Sacramento made some moves this year that a lot of people thought they were done for by trading Tyrese Halliburton. And to me, I honestly think that they sort of made a great trade. Sacramento was able to move on from Buddy Hield's contract for $80 million. They moved Tyrese Halliburton and they brought in a two-time All-Star who's only 25 years old in Sabonis, who's
Right.
also a 20 and 10 guy. And they didn't have to move one first-round pick. Like a lot of people are not understanding. You brought in a two-time All-Star that's 25 years old. He's not in his prime, and he's going to be there with your team for the next 7 to 8 years. And you didn't have to move a first-round draft pick for you. You gave him a rookie. I mean, listen, I love Tyrese Halliburton. I wish he was a Knick. Yeah, of course. And people think like, oh yeah, but they gave up two. I don't think they were able to move on from money from Buddy Hield. That's a hefty contract,
Right.
and they're in win now mode. I think Sacramento's front office should be more worried than anything. Like they're in a situation now where like, okay, you moved Halliburton, then you have to show us what you want to do next. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think that drafting a guard is going to benefit them. If anything, I think they take Keegan Murray over Jaden Ivey. I just feel like all the hype of Jaden Ivey is getting all over the NBA, and that's the thing. But I feel like a person like Keegan Murray benefit that team more when they have De'Aaron Fox and Davion Mitchell. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I see from Sacramento's point of view. Like for me as a Knick fan, I think that there's plenty of different packages that you can offer them that would work. And like I know a lot of Knick fans wouldn't like to hear the packages or think that it's crazy. You have 8 young assets. You're not going to be able to sign all of these players, and we have to be realistic about that.
Right.
So when you're talking about who you have Obi, you have Cam, obviously you have RJ, who's supposed to be our future. You have Quentin Grimes, you have Jericho Sims, you have Deuce McBride. So you have these young guys. Who would you want to keep on this team?
Exactly. This guy, one guy that sticks out to me is Miles McBride. I mean, he's like the king of Westchester right now. He was having like amazing games. I caught a couple full games where his whole demeanor and everything about his game is way different than what you see under Tom Thibodeau. He just has
Yep.
more freedom down in the G League. So that's just untapped potential. So worrying about drafting a point guard and signing, looking for one. I mean, you already have we already have well quickly here. We got Rose still that we got to deal with. Everyone forgets about Derrick Rose. He's making $14 million on the roster. We got to figure out what we're gonna do with that. Walker is like obviously he's gonna be gone. But he's still here though. He's still on the contract. So these are things that we have to get rid of, man. So just moving forward, like say like with Sacramento, a deal like they did just to get rid of a contract. They still was to get an all-star and stuff. That part of the trade, no one ever talks about. They only talk about the Halliburton situation. Oh, they got rid of Halliburton already. What are they doing over there? But there's a bigger picture with everything. There's financial, there's roster fit. What are they trying to do? They don't want to have a center there. They drafted Bagley and stuff. They didn't really have a real center. So I think they just want to play like that.
No,
So
100%. I agree with you 100%.
right. So I'm saying all that to lead up to Julius Randle. How serious do you think that would be, like for Sacramento to take on a Julius Randle to pair up with Sabonis?
I completely apologize. My screen went out. I don't know if you see me. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I hear you. Good.
So when I think about it, there's a lot of questions that I have. Okay. The first thing is when I spoke with Sacramento Kings reporter Sean Cunningham, I asked them about the situation and why did Sacramento go with Sabonis instead of someone like Julius Randle? Did the Knicks reach out? Was Halliburton available in trade talks to the whole league? Did people know about it? Because it seemed like it came out of left field. Like no one saw this trade happening, and it just
Right.
came out overnight. I was like, did the Knicks know that he was available? He's like, Halliburton was made available a month prior to that trade, and that's something the fans don't know.
Right.
John Cunningham has been with Sacramento for 16 years on their radio and reporting for them. And he's covered 5 NBA finals. So like he has his respect around the league. And he told me that it was been out there for a month and they waited for the best offer. So then it makes you question, like if they didn't want Julius Randle then and they wanted Sabonis, like did the Knicks not offer enough? Or do they not like Julius Randle? So now when it comes down to a trade for this 4th pick, if it is for Ivey, if you're figuring that Jabari is going 1, Chet's going 2, Bonchero's going 3, I don't know if they're going to want Julius Randle. I mean, Sean Cunningham also said that they're in win now mode. They want to win now. Like, if they don't win, Wes Wilcox and McNair are probably going to get fired. They're GM and assistant GM. Like, you moved to Halliburton and we're not winning. What the hell did you do to this franchise? You know what I mean?
Right.
So if they don't take a Julius Randle, because my first offer would have been, my personal offer, if I wanted to move on from Randle, was I'll give you 11. I'll give you Randle. And I'll give you next year's Dallas first. You give me the pick number 4, and I'll take on Harrison Barnes for cap situations for us. And I know that they have a trade exception, but still, I'll take on Harrison Barnes. I'll have Harrison Barnes back up Obi Toppin, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. Harrison Barnes is a good two-way player. I mean, he's a veteran. You can't have a team of all rookies or all young guys, which every fan wants. Just play 20 young guys. It doesn't work like that. You need to have some veterans on this team. So that's what I would have offered. Do I think it's going to happen now? I don't know. I don't think the Knicks will throw more with Julius Randle because of optics as well. The Knicks they just paid the man. They're not going to get rid of Julius Randle for free. They won't do it. James Dolan loves Julius Randle. Randle has a direct line to James Dolan, and people that are close in the media know that. So then I start saying, then we have to talk about young picks. And I've been talking to some people that know a lot of information that I've met throughout the years, being a season ticket holder, some people that know a lot. And you start to say like maybe some guys would be offered in the pick with some picks and it'll be better because Sacramento will get a player that they need. Maybe if Julius Randle is not going to be on the radar for other teams, you're going to have to deal with him for the next year. And he's probably going to be your starting forward going on the following season. Maybe you have to trade Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin with a point guard and a young team could play very well. I mean, you can imagine the same way you'd want Jaden Ivey running the fast break with Obi Toppin. They have De'Aaron Fox, who's arguably the fastest guy in the league with a basketball in his hand. With Obi Toppin, I mean, that can work with them.
Yeah, and Sabonis is a great passer too, so Sabonis is going to find guys.
And he can
I totally see it.
And he can spread the floor. Then you have another player like Cam Reddish. We have forwards. We have Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes is looked at by the Knicks. Love Quentin Grimes. He shows that motor. He shows that great work ethic. He's a 3-and-D type of player. He can put the ball on the floor and drive to the basket. Remember, Cam Reddish is on a contract year. You're going to have to pay him. You're going to have to pay RJ Barrett. You're going to have to pay these guys. You can't just let them walk. And you're going to have to remember, you're going to have to pay IQ next year. You're going to have to pay Obi Toppin. So there's players that you have to pay. You can't pay everybody. So, I mean, I personally could see if that they don't take Julius Randle and Obi Toppin, pick 11, next year's Dallas, and probably a 2024 or 2025 first rounder from the Knicks, I'd probably make it a top 5 or top 10 protected if I could. But with a pick swap probably from both of them, because everything is with pick swaps now, and I'd
Yeah.
still take on I don't know if because they have an exception, so they can afford everything. The Knicks don't have to take on Harrison Barnes unless they want to move Harrison Barnes. But if it's going to be a young guy with 3 picks, I mean, I'm with it. And Knicks fans like you're trading the farm. This is what you save your picks for. This is what you draft young assets for. The Knicks have been moving in the right direction for the first time in a decade, and people aren't realizing it. This is not a Carmelo Anthony trade. You're not trading 3 of your starters plus 3 future picks. You're not doing that. You're trading. You have 5 picks next year, or 6 picks next year, 4 second rounders next year. So there's still stuff where you can use these second rounders to move up and get a late first. And then if you're getting your point guard of the future, which you haven't had in 20 years, to be alongside your wing player and RJ Barrett that you want to build through, I think it could be something great.
So we got a surprise. Hey, State, can you
All
hear us
right.
now? Your State has been trying to get on for like the last almost half an hour right now. So can you hear us, Mr. State? State still can't hear, but he's still popping in and out. But as soon as I see him again, I'll pop him back in there, man. But I just want to touch on a couple things that you were saying. I was talking about tradition the last couple podcasts or whatever. So like the Knicks, I feel like defense and just like a ball movement and things of that nature. We won championships in the '60s that way. We won championships with the Knicks. Around Ewing, different kind of setup, but there's a lot of ball movement on perimeter, team play, strong-minded defensive players. So I feel like we need to get there again. But mentally, I feel like the young guys that we've drafted, I think we're on that path there. So Julius Randle is probably like the wink link to that. So but at the same time, he's still NBA All-Star. So he's still a guy that can give you 20, 10, and 5. Whatever trade that we make for him, he's going to be the best player in the trade. So there is respect around the league for him. Amongst Knicks fans is a different story. So I'm thinking maybe like if he was to go like to Sacramento, tradition might come into play also because they had Chris Webber there. They had Brad Miller, they had Vlade Divac. So maybe they see Sabonis as Vlade Divac. Maybe they see Julius Randle as like a Chris Webber, and maybe they feel like they can get lightning in a bottle again. With the same kind of setup. So what do you think about that? The nostalgia stuff that I'm throwing out there at you.
No, I mean, I agree with the perspective 100%. My only problem is that other teams, we don't know how they feel about Randall because from what you watch as him being a Knick, he needs the ball in his hands. He can't play off the ball. And this is a situation where he's going to have to play off the ball. He can't play with the ball in his hands. Is he willing to do that? Because Julius Randle can play completely well for a team if he's a second or third option. If he's a second or third option, he'll be able to help them. He can give you your 15 and 10 a game. He'd be able to do that. But I think just for this Knicks current roster that we have, he limits improvement for the players that we have.
Right.
So with him having such high usage and RJ trying to take over at the second half of the season, RJ was just putting his foot down saying, like, excuse my language, but enough of this shit. Like I've been here for 3 years. I'm not supposed to be stuck on the side of the baseline. Like I'm a player that can play on ball. I'm a player that can take it to the rack by myself. And RJ is the only Knick compared to them that has shown consistent improvement year after year. Like everyone's like, I don't see RJ as your number one player. I'm not saying he's your number one player. He might be a number 2 player. But at the same time, you haven't given him the opportunity to show what he can do as the number 1 player. And when he has been given that opportunity, he dropped 40 points against the Lakers. He didn't drop 40 points against a couple of bums. He dropped 10, 30-point games this year. He wasn't rated top 100 players on the 20. Like, the stuff is just disrespect because it's New York media. If he was any other team doing what he's doing now, he'd be a top 10 guy under 25 years old in the whole league. Right. And it's just the disrespect that you see. So, like, for me, the reason why I'd move Julius Randle is not because I hate him. Yeah, I hate him. That's not the point. To me, his accountability. He doesn't take any accountability as a man. Like, you're the leader of this team. You have 8 babies on this team. These guys are youngins. These guys are 23, 22, 21 years old. Okay, when you mess up and you're not playing well, support your guys. Get back on D. Get the ball to RJ. Let him take over for that game. You see multiple times where Tatum and Brown play after Al Horford got there, and Al Horford talked a lot into these guys' ears. Both of you stop complaining, little babies. You guys can both bowl. You can both score. Whoever's feeling it, give them that ball that night. It's happened a lot where Tatum drops 40, Brown drops 15, Brown drops 40, Tatum drops 15, and vice versa. So you have a situation like that with RJ and Randle, and you could have done it. But instead of him getting back on D, he's complaining to refs throwing his hand up. Instead of him supporting Obi Toppin to get into the game, he's complaining. I'm at every Knick game, and I sit right there at half court, and I'm staring at him at every timeout. I've taken multiple videos and put it on Twitter of him on the corner, not even listening to the coach, of him on the side, not even caring what's going on. And you don't like that. You don't like that.
Right. He's your leader. He's the big man, the physical force that you physically see him. When stuff happens, he's the big guy. So
Yeah.
Horford is that dude. Horford. If Horford's gonna tell you what to do and demand stuff out of you, you have to catch up now with Horford because Horford is gonna show and prove. He's gonna tell you what you're doing wrong, but he's also gonna run through a brick wall and hoping that you're right behind him. Or maybe next time you run through the wall and he run behind you. That's the difference. Julius Randle is just banging his head against the wall, and everybody's looking at him like, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?" And then,
It's a stubbornness. Like I told you, I don't mind if he dropped 10, 5, and 5 the whole year. If he played terrible, as long as he's there for his teammates as the leader, it's a different story. To me, accountability is very big in the league, especially when you're in New York. You wanted to be here. You wanted that big contract. You wanted to be the leader of this team for a reason because you're the face of the whole country. Not give me 20, 10, and 5 on empty stats. I mean, you're just sitting inside the paint and the rebound just falling to you every time. And you get in the ball for 50% of the game. So you're obviously going to hit a fucking, excuse my language, you're obviously going to hit layups.
Curse, man. I don't know if you know this channel, man. I curse like a sailor on this damn thing, man. So say what you got to say.
There's no way you're not going to drop 20 and 10 and 5 unless you're terrible. Like you have the opportunity to score in this team because the coach gives you all the limits that you want. Go out and do whatever you want. So, like, if you don't drop 20, 10, 5, then you're a bum. But he's not. Like, I tell you again, as much as we all hate him, I just hate the fact of no accountability and being very stubborn and not being supportive to the other young guys. That's what bothers me the most.
Well,
we got to get State in here. What's good, State?
Jesus now. How you doing, State?
Mo, I said Randle. I don't care about the 20, 10, and 5. That stat is just so empty. Him in a winning situation is averaging 15 and 10. It means that he's not on ball. He's playing his role. He's a good player. I think that's the most disrespectful part about last season was you come off an amazing season, one of the best Knicks seasons I've ever seen in my life. You get paid, and then the first thing that comes out last offseason was you come into camp out of shape. We should have known right there, right then and there, it was going to be a downhill season. I'm not excusing nothing he did last season. He's a good player, by the way. But at the same time, the Knicks need to pick a direction. And I think that's the biggest thing. And if you're not going to pick a direction, I feel like you have to find a way to have Randle and Obi on the court. Because there's no reason why I don't want to hear about Obi getting 13 minutes a game next season. I don't want to have that argument with Eru no more. I'm done with that. I want to see good basketball. And I feel like last season was very disrespectful from Randle. You give us a thumbs down. Then the very next game, you go 1 for 9. And you don't even speak to the media. Then you avoid the media for 9 games straight. And you have RJ Barrett talking for you, who's 21, who shouldn't be talking for you after you already an all-star. We deemed you the leader of the team, and we deemed you the best player on the team. So you don't speak. And then when you do speak, the only game you spoke is when you scored 30 and a loss. Dude, you got to stop your nonsense, man. And he's once a Knick, always a Knick, but he got to go. He got to go. I just want to see Obi play. I feel like Obi helps the team better. Obi hustles more. Obi feels like he wants to be a Knick. He plays hard. The other players around him play hard because he's playing so hard. Granted, he's not a rim protector, but maybe he could get that skill within him, right? Maybe he's not, his post-ups ain't good. Maybe his post-up strength ain't good enough yet, but maybe it can happen, But I just rather see Obi to this point. Like, I'm done with the whole Randle stuff, the whole 2010 and 5. I'm muting that on Twitter. When I get back to Twitter, I'm muting 2010 and 5. I don't want to see it no more. It's just a hollow stat. It's very hollow. If he was on a winning team, you think if he go to Portland next season, you think he averages 20, 10, and 5? No.
He might.
He might.
Chauncey Billups would To the right, the shade, bro.
But if he stays, I have no problem with him. You get what I'm saying? I just want him to get his shit together. That's the main issue. Like Thibodeau needs to figure out. No, not even Thibodeau. Leon Rose needs to make a move within the next 5 days, or I'm going to be pissed off. And Thibodeau needs to figure out how the hell is he going to get Randle and Obi on the court together? Because if you're not going to trade him,
how about I give you a hot take based off of that?
Okay. Go ahead.
I'll give you two things. Number one, I spoke about this during the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
I felt personally, this is what I'm thinking, that Leon Rose, Tom Thibodeau, James Dolan sat down. They had a talk. Dolan, Rose told Tibbs, you have until the rest of the season to do what you want to do. You don't want to play Cam. You don't want to play these young guys. You want to make a playoff push. You want to hit the play-in. Go for it. Because Dolan wanted to be in the play-in. Dolan cares about his money. Dolan cares about his money, bro. And New York being in the playoff series makes him a lot of money, much more money than all other states and other teams, bro. A lot of people don't realize that, but it makes him a lot of money. He cares about his bag.
Mm-hmm.
They told him, you do what you got to do. If it doesn't work out, next season, you're forced to play the kids. If not, you're off this team. Because if he's fired, he's 65 years old. He's not getting a job anywhere else in this league. And everyone knows that. He knows that as well.
Yo, that stresses me out a lot, man. The Tom Thibodeau thing. Because I mean, if we start the season off bad and then we have to trade him like 2 weeks or like before Christmas and he's like fired, I will be devastated, man. You know,
so that's why I don't think it'll happen that way. Why would they bring him back and extend his contract for the full 5 years if he just did this with all these young guys? And the whole league was shocked. You have all these young guys. Why the hell aren't they playing? It's not just us as Knicks fans. It's the whole league. We have arguably one of the best young benches in the whole league. Top 5, I'd say, with young studs. So I feel like you gave him that motive that next year you're forced to play these young guys. If you're going to be here, you don't have a choice because you didn't make the plan. Now, my second hot take is that I'm probably about 90% sure, I'd say, get ready, that either Julius Randle or Obi Toppin is not here by the end of the offseason. I do not see a way where they're both going to be on this team together.
All right.
That's me personally. I think that the Knicks are willing to
now and next week. I think he's going between now and next week, I think.
And I think the Knicks were willing, and they are still willing to move Julius Randle for the right price. They're not going to attach picks to Julius Randle after paying him that money. They're not going to be made fun of because of optics in this league to trade him for nothing. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see a player like Obi Toppin in that Sacramento deal or in that deal to get Jaden Ivey. As much as Knicks fans want to see Jaden Ivey throwing lobs to Obi Toppin on a fast break, Wes McNair and Wilcox think that De'Aaron Fox with a basketball in his hand running full court with Obi Toppin next to him might be something pretty damn pretty too. So like, you got to think about it from both perspectives.
Just a rebuttal real quick. So why the fuck people tell me about 2010 and 5, bro? Well, like why is this stat? Why everybody?
But yo, 2010
and listen, you mentioned that. I didn't mention it.
Yo, me and Stay argue about this all the time. Yo, you cannot fake 2010 and 5. Even though he could be trash, you might think that he's not a good player. It takes a lot to get 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists.
I still think it's a fake stat. I agree with State, bro. If you watch every Knick game, other fans around the league, they don't watch every Knick game. They watch the highlights of him dropping 20, 10, 5. But when you're a Knick fan and you're watching every Knick game and you see him just camping there in the paint, which I'm surprised he doesn't get like 12 3-second violations every fucking night. That makes absolutely no sense to me. But
yo, Mitch does the same thing, though. Mitch be sitting right there, sitting right next to him.
One on offense. Tom Thibodeau throws Obi Toppin in the corner like he's Steve Novak. I mean, Obi Toppin was the worst two-point shooter in NBA history for the first 6 months of the season. Everyone forgot about that. That's not what he was here for. Until they started allowing him to put the ball on the floor, until they started running plays for him getting to the basket. And I felt like that was just Knick players doing it themselves, not Tom Thibodeau.
Right.
I mean, that's how it is. And to me, I mean, from what I've seen and what I've heard, Tibbs loves IQ. The Knicks front office love him as a six-man. Every team needs a player that can come off the bench and score. Even if you have IQ as a six-man going on forward, he can still finish games with the team. You know what I mean? He can still be there in the fourth quarter. The same situation as Lou Williams. Same situation as Joel Crawford. These guys were six-men, but they led the team sometimes during the season in scoring. Led the team sometimes in top 5 in the team on minutes played, even though they came off the bench. Same thing with Manu Ginobili. You know what I mean? So it doesn't mean that's something bad coming off the bench, but Evan Fournier, to me, is 100% not getting moved, and Knicks fans have to stop thinking about that. The Knicks front office brought in Evan Fournier to do exactly what he did. They told you, we're going to pay you $19 million a year. Come here and shoot threes. They didn't tell him to play defense. Everyone watched him in Charlotte and Boston. Everyone watched him in Orlando. He doesn't play D. He can knock down threes. And what did he do to save his ass? He beat the Knicks 3-point record. And you think they're going to trade him?
So let me say this. We all just watched the playoffs for 2 months straight. Mo, who playoff rotation Evan Fournier going to play in next summer? Because he will get hunted by other teams. It's no all right.
New York Knicks on a playoff contender. He's going to be on the New York Knicks.
No, I'm not mad at him.
Listen, this guy right here is not coaching every team in the NBA. You know, Tom Thibodeau's not coaching every team.
It's just Evan Fournier tells me he's going to start. Like, that's why I don't want him. I don't want him here. Because if he's here, Tibbs is going to start him. And then we're going to go through the same thing over again. And what's even more disgusting about that is when you say when this possibly Obi could be traded. So you're telling me center X, whoever that player is, Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, Evan Fournier, and Jaden Ivey. I don't like that starting line. I'm not excited. These guys here. Why are we signed Randle?
At the same time, no matter who you start next year, are you expecting to be a playoff team?
Yes, next year. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I don't expect. To be completely honest with you, I'd be so happy if the Knicks play all of the youngins next year, lose every single game, but you show me development from the young guys. I wouldn't mind it. And I don't see the Knicks, as long as they're in the right direction and they make the moves that allow the younger guys to get playing time and development, I'd be fine with it. I personally think Alec Burks is the first person gone. I think Alec Burks has a lot of value in this league to help contending teams, especially with his contract. So I can see Burks going to Portland. I can see Burks going to Denver. I can see Burks going to Cleveland. I can see Burks going to any of these teams that need a wing that can shoot the 3-ball. I can see it happening. So and his contract is very cheap at around $10 million. So I can see Burks being moved. Everyone thinks that Noel has no value. I still think that Nerlens Noel can be a solid backup center on someone's team at $10, $11 million a year because he can protect the rim. Is he ever healthy? No, he wasn't this year. But the Knicks paid him for a reason because Mitch wasn't healthy. And he showed up in your almighty 4th seed team, State. He showed up for them. Yeah, what happened? They had to pay him. You know what I mean? It's either that or you don't know what the hell's going to happen with Mitchell Robinson. So if they are capable of moving Burks and Noel, and if no one wants Kemba Walker, if Charlotte doesn't want him, no one wants him, and you buy him out, I think they try to make a deal with Mitchell Robinson. I think so. I think Mitchell is going to want 17, 18 million a year. I think a team like Detroit or a team like Charlotte will give him 4 for 72, 4 for 75. And I wasn't for paying him. He's always been injured. You know, he hasn't been healthy. He's gained a lot of weight after having a broken foot. And a broken foot for a center is very different. He can't spread the floor. He can't knock down the 3-ball. And if I'm Mitchell Robinson, to be completely honest, I'd leave the Knicks. I've been here for 4 years. You haven't got me a point guard. You had Alec Burks not throwing me lobs. Why the fuck would I stay in New York? Why wouldn't I go to Detroit with Cade Cunningham, who I can run pick and rolls with, drop 15 and 10 a game, be defensive player of the year, and get 4 blocks a game? Why not do that?
Right, and I have to deal with somebody like me cursing him out every week, talking about how shitty Mitchell Robinson is. You know, so you go to another state, they're just not as savage as we are here. You know, Boston and all these other cities and Philly, they have their own way of treating their players. But just to the fact where we break them down so crazy because we just know the game so much that we break them down crazy. That's a lot of stress, man. Well, listen, I'm just trying to get a sweat. I'm just trying to get, some girls. I'm trying to get me a car. I'm trying to get me a couple of dunks in the game and stuff like that. And this motherfucker E-Rule over here talking about that I need to get a post move. I need to change my shooting form. And I need to shave my armpits and all this other shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot of stress, from that standpoint. But, when you were talking about all these players, all these guys have value. Evan Fournier, like you said, Alec Burks of the league. They could support another team as far as being in a rotation. The problem with the Knicks is that we have guys on the roster that are young or whatever, but they basically do the same thing. So having these players, Fournier and Alec Burks and all these guys, they're not really moving the needle. So if they're not moving the needle in that way as far as making the team better, then that's the reason why that we need to get rid of them too.
You want me to tell you why Evan Fournier won't leave besides a 3-point record?
Go ahead.
Name me the top 15 shooting guards in the league. The top 10 of them are all all-stars. All right.
Right.
After 10, who do you have?
After 10.
After 10, who do you have? Evan Fournier, Buddy Hield,
Listen to him.
Danny Green. These are the shooting guard. The shooting guard is the weakest position in the NBA. See, besides the 10 All-Stars, you don't have any backups. Then you get to these players.
Yeah. I agree with that, but I agree to disagree. Shooting guard right now, the position is probably the weakest it's ever been in the past like 20 years.
Yeah.
Now, where I disagree is this past draft with Jalen Green and those boys, Ant-Man, these past 2 drafts, and the next draft that's coming up is going to restock the NBA with good shooting guards. So it's just a wait and see for me. But the real thing with our roster when it comes to Mitchell Robinson, when you watch the finals, Robert Williams, that is the thing that caused me to pause. But to rebuttal myself with that, to just play devil's advocate even more, is the team that won the finals don't got a 7-footer. They just got a bunch of wings. I seen a stat. Not Cam Reddish. Oh my God, I hope Cam Reddish is watching Wiggins. I seen a stat where Wiggins held Tatum to 35% in the finals, and Draymond held Jaylen Brown. This is when they was guarding them to like 21% in the finals. So it depends on how you want to build your team. Honestly, like I like Evan. You know, he's not annoying. I understand he's a shooter. What scares me with him is not Evan, though. What scares me with him is the 64-year-old dummy, you know, that's our coach. He's going to start him next season, bro. If Evan is here. I'm scared of that, man.
Optics.
I'm scared of that, man. And Thibodeau, he's the type of guy, you got to take his toys away. He's like one of those kids that you really got to take his toys away in order for him to get with the program. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
But you sign a guy like Tom Thibodeau because he's supposed to be bringing the program. So that's like a conflict of interest there, man. That's our biggest problem in this offseason is satisfying the fact that we have Tom Thibodeau and that we're not getting rid of him, and also satisfy the roster. So we have so many different things to balance here as far as cups is concerned, just to get this whole thing from to prevent it from tipping over. Because one, like if we don't have a productive offseason, this whole thing could just hit the floor, and we'll be like stressed out for another year and waiting for another draft to come off to grab another player.
That's Tibbs gonna be fired. I'm gonna be dancing for joy. I might. Man, if we start losing, man, I might get me a gallon of Henny because I'm gonna start drinking every day. Because I already know Tibbs gonna be fired. And that's gonna be the day I'm gonna be so happy because I don't see the ceiling with him at all.
So, like, okay, let's say with the draft, let's say we don't move up, and then because the Knicks haven't done that yet. We haven't made a big splash yet. So if everything stays the same, right? What do you think about these guards and stuff? Because they did bring it up that you brought it up first that the NBA shooting guard is just like non-existent right now. You got top 10 and then a bunch of bums after that. But now this year, I want to say, in this draft, there's like at least 10 guys that possibly could be rotational or possibly starters in the NBA, within the next couple of years. I'm gonna pull up.
Let me ask you a question. Is there anyone on this list after 10 that you would play and give playing time to over the young guys you have on this current roster now? Are you giving Johnny Davis? Are you giving Ousmane Dieng? Are you giving Malachi Branham? Are you giving any of these guys playing time over Cam Reddish, Quentin Grimes?
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Grimes and Cam Reddish ain't good enough for me to say. Listen, Johnny Davis can't play over him, right? We don't know that.
So why don't you trade them?
Huh?
So why don't you trade them in a deal? You can't keep all these young guys. Cam Reddish is on contract here. I love Cam. I think Cam's one of the best scorers on this team. I think he's one of the best finishers on this team. I think he's one of the best ball handlers on this team. But if the Knicks see that he doesn't have a good motor and he's not showing it, if Cam's not the first fucking kid in the gym every day this offseason and the last fucking kid out, then he should be traded right now this week.
I agree. I'm not mad at that. But I think he's been in the gym. I ain't gonna lie.
I hope so, though, because I love him. That's mini Paul George to me in my eyes.
Yeah.
Like, well, I wouldn't know because I'm not in the gym. I need to get in the gym myself to see if I can see if anybody's in there. You know what I'm saying? That drives me crazy, bro. So I was talking about Mo early when I met him at the thing. The motherfucker looked like Paul Bunyan and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's a big motherfucker here talking to delivering the hoodies or whatever. But I mean, like, our job, we're not professional athletes, so our job, we have work. You say you work 7 days a week. I work freaking like 15, 16 hours a day like a savage. State is at work right now. You know what I'm saying? So, and we have our own problems, so we can't be in the gym all day. But these guys, their 16-hour job is to be in the gym. So if the issue is if this guy is in the gym, if that guy is in the gym, then why are we even wasting our time talking about these motherfuckers if we got to worry about them being in the gym? That always drives me crazy every year.
But real quick, you gotta talk about it only because Cam Reddish contract is due next offseason. I want to keep Cam Reddish, by the way. He's 6'8". He's taller than all of these wings on this list right here. But at the same time, you got to think cap space, right? Now, another thing the Knicks should be thinking about is RJ Barrett's contract. You're thinking about Mitchell Robinson's contract, but RJ Barrett's contract comes into play too, because I don't want to have RJ Barrett on this near $100+ million deal, and I'm still looking at number 30 across the screen. So, and to remove number 30, if you got to give up Reddish in that deal, then I understand why, because of cap reasons. But at the same time, you get another guy who you don't have to pay for another 3 years, right? So just in case if you do want to trade some of these other young guys, it can happen, man. Young cores is typically made up of 4 guys that you put all of your resources in and your efforts in. It's not really your core 4 that you drafted. You get a couple free agents, a couple trades, but you usually have a core 4 who you draft and who you develop. And I'm not married to all of these kids like that. I'm married to RJ Barrett. I don't know them other kids though. I don't know. I've been a Knicks fan for 21 years. I've never seen a young Knick average 26-3. That's just me, my personal opinion. So
I'm not married to no man. Every time State goes there, I say I love this guy, I love that guy. I don't love no man. Man.
I agree with State on RJ, and a lot of Knicks fans bash him. I don't think RJ's worth the max right now. If he wanted his money now, I give him 4 years for $120 million. I give him $30 million a year. I give him the contract basically that Julius Randle got. But the thing that I like about RJ, even though I don't know if he's the number one guy, I just like the consistency and the work ethic. So you're showing me improvement year after year and the positioning that he's put in. Okay? So he's not put in a position to thrive. He's been shoved in the corner all year. He's been having to make it work by himself. He has many things he has to improve on. The kid's 6'6", 6'7". He's getting stronger. He has to know how to work, how to make it in the paint. He has to know how to go up strong and not get blocked 4 times a game. Yeah. He has to know when to pull up for that mid-range 10-footer for that little midi game instead of driving it to the basket where everyone knows what he's going to do. He's going to have to get better going right. Can he go right? Yes, he can. But he loves going left. And everyone's going to notice it. He's starting to get respect around the league. Other players are starting to realize who he is. So the people are going to be watching film. So I played high school ball. I was an all-state football player. I had a full ride to college for football. And during games, during workouts, we'd watch certain players in the way that they play. We watch which way they like to go more. And when the game comes, you attack them the other way. You force them a different way. The same thing's happening in the NBA. RJ needs to improve his free throw shooting. He has to improve, obviously, his three-point shooting. He's been getting better at it. He has to improve driving to the rim, and he has to improve his ball handling. I don't think he's a great ball handler. People want him to be the point guard. I don't want him dribbling the ball up the court. I think he has to improve that crossover, his in-and-out crossover, his mid-range game, and that finishing at the rim so he can be a better free throw shooter. Because he was getting to the line a lot last year, and 70% ain't going to cut it.
No.
So I think there's a lot that he has to improve on. But to me, the consistency and the growth is what makes Knicks fans happy. That your player is growing, and he wants to be a fucking Knick. That you can see it. He's so mature when he speaks. When he fucks up, he says, I fucked up. When something happens in the game, he admits in the post-game conference. And that's what you want in a leader. So even if he's not the number one guy, just the fact that he's working his ass off all the time, I appreciate that. And the difference with Cam is that natural baller, man. When you're in the park and you see that one kid that just got fucking bunnies for no reason, that can throw it down on your head.
Smoking Newports at every time out, the motherfucker smoking Newports on the side and shit. He's smoking Newports and I can't.
The kid that's wearing a do-rag like State everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
That's who Cam reminds me of.
Yeah.
but his work ethic and his motor has to be there. Because if he busts his ass in the gym, because RJ Barrett to me is not as talented as Cam. I think RJ just has that motor, has that work ethic, that drive to want to be a better basketball player. I think that's just the way that he's always been. But if Cam had that same work ethic, well, Cam Reddish would be a scary fucking player. It's a wing dominant league, and he's a 6'8" kid with a 6'11" wingspan. That's the exact player you want on any NBA team right now.
Yeah, he makes everything look easy. Everything that he does makes it look easy, but it just what's ever going on in his head. You know what impresses me about all of our young guys is that say like RJ Barrett, he comes from a great family. His dad, he's like a carbon copy of his dad. You can see that's where he gets his traits from. Obi Toppin, every time you see Obi Toppin, you see Obi Toppin Sr. right next to him, and all his kids right there. Same thing with Quentin Grimes. You see always Quentin Grimes, you always see him either by himself or with his entire family, not just by himself. He's with his whole family. So I mean, these are the group of people that we have. Even this guy Deuce McBride, all these young guys that we picked up, all big time character guys, all the ones that we have problems with, like Mitchell Robinson. I don't want to disrespect him and his family either, but his uncle was missing for like 2 weeks. We thought he was dead, and then he pops up, in a freaking rental with a freaking gallon of Henny and some I don't want to go crazy on the dude, man. But
I understand what you mean. They're all family oriented, good kids.
Yeah. So we need to double down on that, man. We just like whatever we do, we really need to just pinpoint that type of player. And like that, I think that's why everybody is in love with Jaden Ivey, because Jaden Ivey is that guy. He was around the game since he was born. His mom played in the NBA. I mean the WNBA, played in college. Is a current NBA. I'm just gonna be NCAA coach. So and he has the pedigree from his dad also. So it's just incredible, man. So that I want the kid too. We were talking about it earlier, man. But State didn't really get to chime in for that, man. But like how did we get this kid, man? I think like we missed out on the ball, dude. We missed out on this guy. We should have tanked there.
How do you get him, State? I want to think what you think is going to be enough, and I'll tell you what my close friend told me. The hefty package, the multiple packages that would work. I want to hear this.
For Ivy. So when I looked at Scotty Barnes last summer before the almighty 4th seed, I said, nah, the Knicks got to get Scotty Barnes. Now Scotty Barnes is the rookie of the year, so kudos. When I seen Ivy, I'm just thinking about the fit with the team, what he brings. I've never seen a Knick guard that explosive at the point guard spot like ever in my life. Then I think about what Tibbs is trying to do. Then I think about what RJ needs. RJ Barrett, he's not athletic, right? He needs somebody who's the opposite of him. So I need somebody who has some skills, some pop to him. Now, what I would give up for Ivy, you take anything but RJ, man. You gotta take anything. Because I'm at the point, I'm like a 90s Knick grumpy man right now. Like, I'm really grumpy with the Knicks right now. I feel like a 90s Knick fan. I'm just tired. I'm tired. I think watching Moutier, Trey Burke, Frank Ntilikina, Alfred Payton, Kemba Walker, Tony Douglas, the list goes on, man. Pablo, it's time. It's time. You got so many assets right now. You got multiple first-round picks in 2023 draft. I don't really care about the 2023 draft. I know it's a high school draft, but I don't give a shit because I'm trying to win next season. So anything but RJ, I would absolutely put that deal on the table. I don't see nobody outside of RJ where I'm like, nah, man, I can't. That's a deal breaker for me. Nah, 6'4" guard that's explosive like that. Nah.
Well, I put Sherman's poster because this is what I've been wanting to say I was waiting for you to get here. That I don't see him as a point guard. When I see Jaden Ivey, I kind of see like Latrell Sprewell. I see a guy as like a scorer on the wing that's going to get out and score, be that alpha dude. That's the type of guy I see without the attitude problem.
So Marcus Smart,
Yeah, but I mean, you say the name Marcus Smart, but they're not the same player. They're two different kind of players.
They both combo guards, though. Marcus Smart could play point guard and shooting guard.
But guys, you have to remember something. There's the role play of a standard point guard is not going to be in the NBA ever again. You're not getting another Chris Paul. You're not getting, I mean, unless you're waiting for Scoot Henderson next year and you think he's going to be the next point guard, you don't know if you're going to even get him. If they're going to fuck the Knicks in draft ordering. Ping pong balls are bought. I don't give a shit what everyone tells me. Ivy is what the Knicks need. Okay. To me, Jaden Ivey is going to be the player that comes out of college that's going to have a much better career in the NBA than in college. And my reasoning for it is because you have an open floor, you have a much faster paced game. You give a kid that's 6'5" with a 6'9" wingspan that can fucking fly down the court, all this space and a fast game, he's going to be breaking down defenses. He can catch your shoot. You can make Evan Fournier look like fucking Klay Thompson, bro, by how open Evan Fournier is going to be when defenses collapse on Jaden Ivey. You're going to have multiple opportunities for RJ Barrett to get open looks. You're going to have multiple opportunities for whoever your four is. Obi Toppin, it could be Lob City with Obi Toppin every game. So you have an opportunity for one player to be able to control an offense for a team and break down defenses, and that's what you need. You see, like these players that have been thriving now, like the top 5 point guards in the NBA, all of them are combo guards. You got Luka, you got Stephen Curry, you got Damian Lillard. You got all these guys are combo guards. These guys aren't traditional point guards. You got John Morant. So you give me a player like Ivey that's able to break down defenses. He's able to kick it out to the people that we need. And if you're still keeping IQ, somebody that can come off the bench and help with the 6-man opportunity, you have Grimes that can still come off and score. You're having a fast team now. You're having a fast team. The center position, I didn't really care about. I watched the last 4 teams in the NBA play without a center. Bam Adebayo, Draymond Green. There's no centers. You're playing with 5 guys that can spread the floor and guard multiple positions. To me, the Mitchell Robinson situation, I didn't care for it. I was just mad that they're allowing him to walk for free.
Right.
And that's what pissed me off. I felt like you can do multiple things unless stuff is going behind closed doors that we don't know and they're talking about it, and that Mitchell Robinson's going to end up staying a Knick. But to me, like I always saw a situation where at the trade line, you can just trade him for Miles Turner. I think something could have worked out. And people say Miles Turner can't play. Well, Miles Turner can spread the floor. Miles Turner cooks the Knicks every time he fucking plays us because Mitchell Robinson can't go out to the 3-point line and defend him. He knocks down 5 threes, and he looks like he's fucking Dirk Nowitzki when he's playing against us. Like these players that can spread the floor for you make it so much easier for the paint to be open. So for a player like RJ to get to the basket on a 1-on-1, get the foul call. For a player like Ivy to drip it right through the paint and yam it on someone's fucking head. So to me, that you want plate pieces that all fit together. So I personally feel like a center position is the least thing of my worry. And people talk about drafting Mark Williams or Jalen Durant. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not drafting a center in the first round. That's
Right.
never fucking happening. Especially since we had Mitchell Robinson and we fucked up with him. You're going to draft the center? That's the dumbest thing that I've heard. But like I would not draft anyone at 11. If you couldn't get Ivy, then I'd move back in the draft. I try to make some trades where I can get rid of Noel, get rid of Burks, get rid of Kemba, get whatever we can, bring in a point guard. I don't think Brunson's going to be here. I think Dallas really wants him. I think he's going to offer him $30 million, give him that max they can offer him. No state income tax in Dallas. So $30 million. If he gets $20 million in Dallas, that's the same price as getting $30 million a year in New York. So that money counts. Unless Brunson wants to be the point guard of a team, the face of a team. You know what I mean? It's a whole different story. But that's my way with the draft, bro.
So
yeah, I agree with a lot of your points there. But go ahead, Steve.
I was gonna say, it's 2 things when it comes to Jaden Ivey. I think the first thing is the center position. I think the only thing about the center position, if Mitchell Robinson does walk, I want a center who can space the floor and shoot threes. Because I want the paint to be wide open. I'm watching the playoffs. The paint was just wide open. And the Warriors' offense is just so beautiful that even when Kevin Looney's in the game, Looney's at the top of the key screening. They're running actual sets. So give me a center who could shoot threes like Mo Bamba or Jalen Smith, just anybody. And the second thing is, once again, Mo, everything you said is beautiful, right? But the 64-year-old dummy, right, might have the number 30 come back. And I'm scared that 30, we're going to be playing the same kind of basketball from last season. And 30 is going to make Jaden Ivey a corner merchant. So
that's the big issue, because I mean, like we already got, like you talk about the centers. Like me and Stay argue so much, man, and also Evergreen. We was talking about paying Mitch Robinson. Everybody on the internet, pay that man. But yo, you just said it. 5 defenders out there that can all pass the ball, shoot it, and this, that, and the other. That's what we saw in the last 4 playoff teams. So why are we paying this guy like X amount of money? But
Look at DeAndre. Look what's his name? Ayton, bro, from Phoenix. The
right,
kid wants 35, 40 million a year. He played 16 minutes in a game 7 closeout game.
right.
Hell,
Well, like he played 16 fucking minutes and he wants 35, 40 million a year.
Yeah.
it's
These guys don't have that pride anymore. You know, the
He's
pain is just not
stupid.
the
He should have
same.
took that deal with Phoenix last year when they offered him like 150 million instead of 225. The kid's an
Yeah,
idiot.
yeah.
He's
The
not
pain
getting
is
that
not the
money.
same like it used to be. You know,
No.
but like if I was coaching the Knicks, just based off of what's been happening, what works in the NBA now, we got Obi Toppin and we got Randall. We got to figure out a way to make that work together, man. You know, but Tom Thibodeau, we're stuck with him. I hate to keep going back to him because it kind of kills the conversation. But he is coaching the team, so he's gonna have Julius Randle bringing the ball up, ramming into 3 defenders, and all this. If he does that again, like you said, corner merchant. If we was to able to draft Ivy, I'd be afraid of that. I'd be afraid of Ivy turning into Alec Burks and sliding to the corner, waiting for Julius to pass on the ball. That's crazy to
I
me.
don't think it happens again, man. As much as people want to bash Tibbs, I understand, bro. He fucked up. I'm the first person to say it. He did terrible. I would rather go with Johnny Bryant. Johnny Bryant's gonna get signed by Utah, by the way. He was Quinn Snyder's guy. Donovan Mitchell loves him. The only way they're gonna keep Donovan Mitchell there is by bringing in Johnny Bryant. I thought that in the beginning of the season, I talked about at the trade deadline. People asked me who I wanted to be coach's team. I wanted Quinn Snyder. I said if Utah fucks up at the playoffs, Quinn Snyder is going to quit. And that's exactly what he did. And I have all receipts of me talking about it at the trade deadline. I said if I can get Quinn Snyder or Will Hardy from Boston. Will Hardy's assistant coach underneath Ime Udoka, and he was a coach in San Antonio underneath Pop for a couple of years. So the young guys love him as well. I just think you need a younger guy to be in here to coach these guys. That's what I do. And I think that the problem was with Tibbs, because how much he loves Randall, he doesn't give him shit for what he does that's wrong. And instead he gives shit to all the other players. So when Randall fucks up, he just tells him get back on D. When Obi Toppin fucks up, get the fuck out of the game. And they look at him like this grandfather type of coach instead of as a guy that they can talk to. When you have a player like Johnny Bryant, or you have a coach like all these other younger coaches that are close to these guys, I think it's a different culture on this team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when Jericho Simmons comes out the game, it looks like Tom Thibodeau got a shotgun ready to blow his brains out every time he walks past him, man. You
But
know
you see, Jericho Sims improved throughout the year. The
Yeah.
first time he played against Joel Embiid, he got absolutely fucking cooked.
Yeah.
The next time he played him 2 months later, he stood his ground.
yeah.
He
Right.
stood his ground. He's improving. And I like that. Jericho Sims got paid $655,000 his first year. He's gonna be making $1 million next year.
That's a play. Now Sims is a play where what's the dude? What's the Spanish dude from New Orleans? He played in the G League and
Alvarado.
Yeah, that's a Brooklyn kid. Yeah.
my boy.
Grand Theft Alvarado.
Nah, man, I call him Avocado, man. That's my boy, man. He played mad defense. I love that kid.
Why you gotta be called avocado, man? You know, I'm the only Latino in the group, man. I kind of take offense to that shit, man.
Dude, I think Avocado. I don't know. Nah, how you say his name again?
Jose Alvarado.
Alvarado, yeah.
Jose Alvarado.
Yeah.
Well, I like that kid. He reminds me of Patrick Beverly. But the point,
he got family from where I'm from. I'm from East New York, Brooklyn. He got family over there too, man. So he's like a hometown guy.
So he had so much fun being at the Garden. I was there at that game. And he had a lot of family in the crowd.
Yeah.
I got there early. I was standing on the court, and I saw him running up the whole family. He was so hyped that he was at the Garden. He was so hyped. And it was the first time I heard of him. It was the first time I heard about him. So he scored like 13 points on us. But who the fuck is this kid Alvarado?
Yeah.
And then he started coming out on Sports Center a couple of weeks later. Yeah, it's all started at the Garden, man. If people want to realize where Alvarado started, it was all at the Garden. He got his opportunity to play, and the kid.
But could you imagine that dream, man? That's like a dream come true for all of us. We play basketball, and you go through the ranks, whatever, and then you end up in the NBA, and then you're playing in the Garden. That's amazing, man. You got your family, the whole hood is there, so that's unbelievable.
But the point I was getting at is New Orleans paid him, I think, a 4-year, like $6 million deal. It was a crazy offer that I thought he would never agree to, but they paid him off of that season. So I'm wondering if that's like a plan D, plan E, plan F for the Knicks to try to like re-sign Sims. I like Sims though. He plays hard. He jumps high as hell. I ain't gonna lie, but he looks like he's a hard worker, and that's the most that's what you could like about your young players. And he don't complain either.
Right.
And He's solid. He's solid around the rim. He's done more jump hooks than I've ever seen from Mitchell Robinson within the past 4 years, which is crazy to me. And, you know, hey, I would love to resign him. So anything for Tibbs not to play Taj Gibson, bro. Anything but that, bro. Because I can't go through that. I can't go through that once again.
Well, you got to respect your elders,
working
man.
out.
Taj Gibson. But check out what's on the screen there. You're talking about plan A, plan B, Z, D, E, F, G, whatever. Donovan Mitchell is in New York, and he won't stop, man. He's taking batting practice with the Mets. You know what I'm saying? This is just like playing with my emotions here, man.
He's not a Knick, bro. The Knicks don't have anything to offer that other teams can. Miami can offer them Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Max Strus, and 3 first-rounders. And not just that, like me as a Knicks fan, people can call me crazy. I don't want Donovan Mitchell on this team. I don't think it's the right time to get a player like Donovan Mitchell on this team. I think this year 4 is very big for RJ Barrett to see what he can do and what he will be for this team. And I think that trading the farm for a player like Donovan Mitchell just puts us back 2 years.
Yeah.
I personally think that the most important thing is to get yourself a point guard that can break down defenses, that can control an offense, and that can allow your younger guys to grow. We're seeing pictures every day with Quentin Grimes in the gym, like when someone just put it up here, Bodega Wi-Fi, with Penny Hardaway. We've seen it. And shout out to Papa Left. He met Quentin Grimes' coach when he was away a couple months ago. And he said that his coach said that this kid has one of the best work ethics that he's ever seen. He's always in the gym. And that's something that you like to hear, bro. That's something that you like to hear. I think Quentin Grimes played like shit the last 2 weeks of the season because he was hurt. I think he just wanted to play to show that he deserved the spot on this roster. But I'm fine with Grimes, bro. I actually like him as a two-way player. I like the work ethic that's there. I don't know if RJ Barrett's been practicing yet because I heard that he was still in a boot a couple of weeks ago, that he was still hurt. Shit. So we don't know if he's playing yet.
Thank you, Tibbs.
He was still relaxing because he was hurt because of that play with Tibbs when they left him in the last minute of the game. So I don't know if he's working out yet.
Was it a Gucci boot though, or was it like a Durango was a Timberland boot?
Gucci boot. Y'all fucking sick of Tibbs, man. I want to hear his voice next season. Why we can't get a new coach? Why Leon Rose is he just so conservative?
I'm tired of his voice too, man. I'm sick of that motherfucker.
Like, how'd you change your voice?
But you prefer
for this? I can talk like this too.
But seriously, man, I can see a situation where if it doesn't work out with Tibbs, I don't think they're going to fire him. I think they move him up to the front office.
Mo, I got a question for Mo.
Yeah,
because you were season ticket holder. How is that like the culture with the Knicks when it comes to young players and having the vets on the team? What on the bench? I'm talking about specifically for the bench. Like when you got guys like Julius Randle, you got a guy like Alec Burks, Evan. When you was looking at the bench, like what the fuck was these vets doing besides Derrick Rose? Like Rose, I see him talking, but what was everybody doing during this season? Like where has our leadership gone, or has it went out the window with Reggie Bullock? Like what?
You know who talks to the rest of the players a lot? Taj Gibson. Taj is up in every timeout. Taj talks to these guys. And like people, I don't know if people realize it, but I look at it carefully during the timeouts. I watch what they do, who's focusing, who's not, who's talking to others. Taj talks to these guys a lot. And listen, bro, you can't blame Taj for getting playing time. Like obviously, we don't want to fucking see him on the court shooting threes. No one wants to fucking see that. But if you're putting himself in his shoes, guy still wants to play. He still wants to make money. You know, he still feels young. He wants
He's
to
still getting better too, man. Isn't it weird? Somebody like that that's on the end of his career, he's still developing his pivot foot. He's shooting threes.
Yeah. I agree. He plays his role, but he shows some leadership on the bench. He talks to these younger guys. But I don't know, bro. To me personally, the more I think about it, the more I think about how fans think that you're giving up too much to get Jaden Ivey in these trade talks. You saved all of these assets and you saved all of these picks for this specific reason. Okay, this is the time. It's been 20 fucking years since you've had a point guard. Don't tell me Tony Douglas, Raymond Felton, Jeremy Lin, Nate Robinson are fucking point guards, okay? Don't tell me, what's his name, Ron Baker is a fucking point guard. These are the point guards that we've had since Charlie fucking Ward and Stephon Marbury. Like we haven't had a point guard in 20 years.
What about Ray Felton?
Yeah, Raymond Felton was in the NBA with the Knicks for 5 years, and he never got his fat ass into shape. He looked every time he ran 3 times up and down the court, looked like he was about to have a fucking heart attack, bro.
Yeah, he was super old school, man. He didn't get into shape until he walked into the training camp. He came
2
in there.
players that I've watched my whole life never get into shape was Raymond Felton and Paul fucking Pierce. Okay?
Yeah.
2 guys that are always fat, but Paul Pierce took advantage because he wasn't the fastest guy, but that motherfucker can score the basketball.
Yeah.
Back to the Knicks, bro. You need Jaden Ivey. And from me as a fan, and people might think I'm crazy, I would trade if the Knicks can't move Julius Randle and opposing teams don't want him, I would trade because then Obi Toppin's not getting any playing time. If Randle's on this team, he's playing 35 minutes a game. I'm not sitting here watching Toppin play 13 minutes a game again and wasting him on this bench. Okay? I'm not. So I would trade Obi Toppin. I would trade that 11th pick. I'll trade next year's Dallas pick because Dallas is going to be a playoff team. They just made it to the conference finals. Be like a 20th pick in the draft. I'll trade that pick, and I'll give them a 2025 or 2026 first. I'm not giving them our first rounder for next year because we're going to be asked this year. And next year has 8 guards in the top 15 that are really good guards. It's going to be the best guard draft that we've seen in the past 6 years. So I would not give them our personal 2023 pick.
If Sacramento accepts a deal like that, I'm going to build Leon Rose a statue.
But I don't think they will. I think they're going to ask for one more
That's
player.
the thing. That's the thing. The chances of that deal happening is not really high.
Now,
I can see it happening.
That works. If you add Cam Reddish to Obi Toppin and you give them the 11th pick and they can still draft whoever they want at 11, and then they have next year's Dallas and a future pick also, I think it works.
Do Leon
go crazy, but you make that choice if you're going to ride with Cam or you're going to ride with Quentin Grimes.
Yeah. Sacramento still got to say yes, though. So if Sacramento doesn't say yes, then what happens to the statue?
They're not saying no to that. Sacramento wants to win now. They can't pick a pair. I don't think that they pick Ivey. Even if they don't trade the pick, I think they pick Keegan Murray. Everyone might call me crazy. I don't think they pick Ivey. You don't need Ivey with Fox and Davion Mitchell because then you're just stunting Mitchell's growth. And they want to win now. So if you give them a player like Murray that can play the 4 for them, right next to Sabonis, and have Harrison Barnes play the 3 or come off the bench, I think it fits their situation much better. If you think about their team realistically.
2010-5, man. They should want, look, Sacramento, if you're watching, we got 2010-5 for you, man.
Me and State argue about that too, because he'll say, no, 2010-5 ain't shit, but then he say, hey, 2010-5 is good. It's like the two sides of the thing there. But I don't know, man. I agree with you with Sacramento. If I'm Sacramento, I'm looking to get a big man. Why would I trade for Julius Randle when I could easily just get Keegan Murray? And I think Keegan Murray is somebody that nobody's really talking about, but I think he might actually be a decent player. 26, 9, whatever he did in college, that's decent, man. 6'8", that's intriguing. That's talent there.
Now, my worry is not the Knicks package, to be honest. My worry is that Detroit wants Ivey too, and people aren't talking about it.
Right.
And Detroit, like they could tell Sacramento, do you want Ivey? Sacramento can be like, yeah, maybe we do. Why? What do you want? They can offer to trade the 5th pick and give them something else from their roster. That's fucking much better than what the Knicks are going to give them.
Right.
So that's a French kid.
Yeah, exactly. Killian Hayes. That's what you're talking about, where the person I spoke to told me that it would be a hefty package to get someone like that. Because if you give them Cam and Obi, they have their starting 3 and 4. They have Harrison Barnes still there. They have 3 picks now. They can pick at 11. They can pick at 11 whoever they want. They can get themselves another wing. They can get themselves a big man. They can get whatever they need at 11.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to do my homework for the next 2-3 days. And I'm going to find out what connections Leon Rose got in Sacramento. Because remember, Cleveland was supposed to pick Obi Toppin, and Obi Toppin fell straight to the Knicks. And Leon Rose was going to trade up for Obi Toppin.
Well, what was the guy that we had picked up before Leon Rose? What's his name? The one that everybody wants to kill from Sacramento?
What, Perry?
Yeah.
Scott Perry. Yeah. And does Scott Perry have connections with Sacramento? So, I'm hoping
I'll tell you one thing if you want to know about that. If you paid attention to the Jaden Ivey workout in the combine, the Knicks front office was sitting right next to Sacramento's front office. And they were talking the whole time. So look at the videos of Ivey working out. I think it was with AJ Griffin. If I believe, I'm not sure. Or if it was Dyson Daniels. I don't remember who he was working out with. But Knicks front office was sitting side by side with Sacramento's front office.
Were they doing TikToks? So were they talking basketball or were they doing TikToks?
No, they're just talking with each other as Ivey was working out. Because I literally paused the videos and I'm looking at them and you can see both those front office that were sitting right down with each other.
Yeah.
And I spoke with Sacramento's top reporter and their news channel reporter that does all their games, that said, listen, the Knicks want to win. If they want to give us Randle, I think it would be an intriguing package, but I think they would have to add a lot more on. And then from my guy that I spoke to, that I met at the Garden, going for the past 8 years, he told me if the Knicks will try to move Randle there, but not with multiple picks, with probably 2 picks. If it doesn't move and get Harrison Barnes at the 4, they're not going to throw the bag at Randle. They'd rather keep Randle here and move out Obi and try to move to another young asset.
That will be, and that's see shit like that is when I'm like 40 years old, like 42 years old, and I'm be saying to myself, why the fuck the Knicks traded Obi Toppin, man? It's moves like that. It's moves like that. I got a 90s Knicks fan who work in the ORs. He work in the ORs with me. Once every 2 weeks, he brings up the fact that the Knicks traded both Mark Jackson and Rod Strickland. So I need a point guard, bro. I'm tired, bro.
Listen, bro, you have positivity, bro. Ivey was working out in a CAA Pro Day workout. It wasn't a regular combine workout. Yeah. He's working out for these CAA guys, bro. Okay? You see the positivity there. I don't see Emmanuel Quickly going there because they have Fox, they have Davion Mitchell. I don't think they're going to take much use of Emmanuel Quickly. I don't think they're looking for a bench player. They want to win now, or McNair and Wilcox are going to be fired. I'm telling you this right now. Yeah. And they think they can get a player like Paul George or Bradley Beal. That's not fucking happening. They don't have money to send out. Where they're going to send out 5 first-rounders for Paul George? It's not going to happen.
Right. Well, this smoke, this fire, man. So I mean, getting Jaden Ivey, regardless of the fact, because like I said, no matter what you guys say, I don't see him as a point guard. I see him as Donovan Mitchell. I think that he's going to be like that,
bro.
Huh?
I see him as Ja.
I don't see him as
he wasn't as successful in college, but to me, you give him an open floor, you give him players that can knock down the 3 ball. You see him that open space on the floor. I can see him as a John Moran. Obviously, we need improvement, but that's my role of play for him around the league. Who he reminds me of.
Well, in my opinion, I want the ball coming to him. I don't want him having the ball and giving it up. I want the ball coming to him. To be like that option. Like when we're talking about championship, first seed, second seed, whatever. Ivey to me has the potential to be that number 1 guy. Because I mean, we just said it, like the shooting guard. There's no shooting guards in the NBA right now. That everybody's getting old and whatever. So I mean, the next generation of players are coming in. So I think Ivey is going to lead that pack for the next group for the next 10 years, man. So I'm excited about him, man. That's what I'm saying. Regardless of whatever role you think he's going to be in, I think we all agree that he's going to be that guy for like the next couple of years.
You know who Jaden Ivey's coach was when he was younger? John Morant's mother.
Well, I mean, respect to Ivey's mom too. Ivey's mom was also involved in that also.
But I'm saying similar type of play, similar type of body. I mean, Ivey's a little more broad, a little bigger boy.
So my official comp for Jaden Ivey, when I first watched him, is Baron Davis. I just couldn't stop thinking about.
I don't see Baron Davis.
Baron Davis is too much of a big shooter, bro. Too much of a better ball handler, bro. Baron Davis is a way different.
We know he was crazy, man, but that's who he reminded. I guess that one game I watched, Ivey was dominating so much that it was because nobody could stay in front of him, and he don't got when people say he don't got like elite handle, I can understand what they mean. For example, Russell Westbrook don't have elite handle, but he has great dribble and he has great speed. He's a north-south type of guy. Jaden Ivey's like a north-south type of guy as well. So I don't see him as a shooter guy. I like the point you said. You want the ball coming to him. For me personally, I want him passing the ball to I want him
to who though. That's the thing. To who? Who he has?
I want him taking the ball up the court, using his speed to break down defenses, allow the defenses to attack him, and get any. Bro, Evan Fournier will drop 400 fucking 3-pointers next year if Jaden Ivey is his starting point guard. Okay? Anyone that's on the court with him will have open shots because he will attract defenses by bringing the ball up the court and using his speed. He's not fucking Alec Burks. He's going to have defenses respect him because of his speed and because of his strength. I mean, Ivy, he has a lot to improve on. But to me, the explosiveness and the speed is something that can benefit so much. So much. I mean, and to me, another thing is you have to look at two ways from a trade, right? If you're trading Obi Toppin, the same way we can see Ivy Obi, I was telling State earlier, imagine De'Aaron Fox flying down the court throwing lobs to Obi Toppin, bro. Sacramento could be intrigued by it.
Yeah, but damn, it doesn't make me happy.
It doesn't stay, but is it going to make you happy with Obi staying here, playing 12 minutes a game behind Julius Randle, and then going into a contract year and not going to get fucking paid by the Knicks? Then
that's why
they gotta hire me to be the coach. That's why.
Shit, one of those two motherfuckers need to leave, man. We need somebody got to go, man.
If they put me on the coaching staff, Obi Toppin's not getting 12 minutes a game. We're gonna run a pick and roll for him. That's number one. How many, a guy lob threats like that, even Mitchell Robinson, he's a lob threat as well. How many pick and rolls did he see? He's just standing there, waiting to get the rebound to go back up. We didn't take advantage of any things that we do well.
And the Knicks players are the worst pick setters in the whole fucking league.
That's a fact.
Mitchell Robinson is one of them.
Julius Randle is one of them.
Yeah.
Julius Randle sets the most half-assed pick and then sticks his left arm out for the fucking ball every single time, bro.
For the loose ball. He doesn't provide space too. Like he'll set the pick and then he'll be standing right there 2 feet away from you to get the ball right back. So it's a mentality.
Emmanuel quickly, he's a good screen setter. If y'all ever watch him, like
quickly is our best screen setter. God damn.
Not because he connects with the body. You get what I'm saying? Like Taj
Quentin Grimes is our best pick setter, bro.
Yeah, he's good too.
Some solid picks. He's been a couple offensive fouls from his picks, bro. Grimes is he's a little hustle gym rat, bro. That's the way he is.
It's that basketball IQ, man. As a guard, when you're setting the pick and you're going around to get the jump shot, you have to basically lick the back of the guy's neck when you're coming around so you can receive the ball. So Quentin Grimes is the master at that. You give him a pick, or if he's setting the pick for you, he's like dragging himself around that body to get that ball, to get the space, to get that jump shot off, or to pass the ball. Just a great basketball play, man. It's very smart, man. That's the one thing. Like I think we all can agree to, no matter which decisions we decide to make or whatever, the Knicks are literally right there, man. We are right there from being in the shit, to being where we need to be like elite in this next.
I wouldn't say
phase of the NBA.
I wouldn't say elite. I feel like the Knicks getting Ivy would be the right step in the right direction that we're choosing the direction by getting a point guard to lead this team alongside RJ Barrett. I think it would allow us to, because people start to forget at the end of this season, a lot of cap is going to open up for the Knicks. Okay. Evan Fournier is going to be on a team option. Then you're going to have to decide what you want to do with RJ, because go underneath bird rights for your team. Then there's going to be a new TV deal next year, which is going to bring in a lot of money. So the cap's going to go up to around like $75 million for the Knicks. That only includes if you're moving away from your vets, such as Alec Burks, Nerlens Noel, and Kemba Walker. If you do so and you have this money and you have Jaden Ivey, who's going to be underneath that rookie deal, then you're setting yourself up for a situation where players can see that you have your point guard and Ivy, you have RJ Barrett, and you can bring in one superstar to play alongside these guys because the foundation is already set and you're headed towards the right direction. Then you can worry about your role players after you get these stars to play with these guys. Because to me, drafting a player at 11 is just adding another role player, not knowing what direction you're going to, and not having a point guard that can lead this offense. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. This guy not Quentin Grimes, quickly, he's like freaking Drake. He's like the Drake of the NBA. Every time you look around, he's at, Jay-Z's, get together. He's sitting in the background of another picture. It's like
he's 22 years old. He's enjoying life, bro.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, the point I'm trying to say is that, like, people love RJ. That, you saw, Jimmy Butler, always pulling him to the side in the middle of a game. He's giving them, like, tips and stuff like that. So, it's just the respect around the league. Everyone loves our players. So that's all in the right path. It's building powerful juju. Like when me and State first started really doing podcasts and stuff, we used to always talk about energy and stuff. Shout out to Aiden Donahue from Knicks community and different guys like that. We used to always talking about bringing positivity. This is our job as podcasters because the outside media, the ESPNs and all that, they always bring in negative. So if we're going to be doing this Knicks content, then we need to like bring the community, bring the family back. And we're doing that on our part, but the players themselves, in the league, the respect around the league and things of that nature, man. It's all becoming like a big, storm, like a melting pot in the positive direction, So, that's something to be very excited about with everything that's happening right now.
I have some good news for us guys. So Sunday, I know it's Father's Day, but Sunday evening, hopefully at 9 p.m., I'll come back with the time, whoever's listening. I'm going to be doing a spaces again with the NBA's top draft scout, Rafael Barlow.
Okay.
So he's going to be back on. We spoke with him a month ago, and now we're a couple days before the draft. And who knows more about what's going on in the draft than Rafael Barlow?
That's what's up.
So it'll be great. It'll be great to talk about it and see what he sees is going on behind closed doors, what he thinks the Knicks are going to do, and who he thinks is going to be traded and not. I mean, that should help us a lot.
Right, no doubt. Well, State just popped. He'll be back in a second. But since you're here and you mentioned that, talk about the stuff that you're doing on Twitter, because we were talking offline and we talked before. You said I'm not a podcaster, this and the other, but then you just said you're gonna do a podcast with this dude.
Places,
yeah.
So
explain.
I tried. So the past 6-7 months, I've been reaching out to different reporters, analysts, top beat writers for certain teams in the draft. Because me, not only as a Knicks fan, but as an NBA fan, I want to see what's going on around the league and what other teams are thinking about and what they expect from the Knicks and what they see in the Knicks besides from a Knicks standpoint. You know what I mean? So I've interviewed Ryan Stiles from Oklahoma City Thunder. He gave us a lot of great intel. He basically told us that SGA don't even think about it as Knicks fans that Sam Presti's not moving him this year. They're focused on rebuilding around him, and they're going to do whatever they can in this draft. And they might make a trade with their 12th pick in this draft to get down again in the top 10 so they can have number 2 and like number 7 or number 8. So expect that. Then I spoke with Sacramento Kings beat writer Sean Cunningham, who's on their radio. He's been with them for 16 years. He's been to 5 NBA finals, very well respected around the league. And he told us what the Sacramento Kings were looking at. I spoke with Rafael Barlow. He's the biggest NBA scout in the whole country. He scouts all prospects coming out of high school, coming out of Canada, coming out of Europe. He flies to Europe. If you guys watch that movie Hustle, Adam Sandler, and how there's a scout that travels all over, this is Barlow. He goes all over, but for the whole NBA instead of just for one specific team. So he has great intake, gives us a lot of news. So it's nice talking to these guys and figuring out their perspectives and what they see on the Knicks and what they see is going on in the top 10 in the draft.
Well, I like to curse on this thing. I always kind of go over the board, but like what I would like to say about all the names you mentioned, fuck those guys. You know what I'm saying? Because the star of the show is you. Mo Knicks takes. They wouldn't come onto your show if you weren't the star. You know what I'm saying? So they feel that they can push themselves up. That's why they're on your show, and that's why my man called back to come back on your show because the last one was so successful.
I keep going to him. Man.
I didn't watch. I didn't listen to it when it happened. I listened to the replay of it. It was a good listen, man. So you're a big part of what's happening out there in the Knicks space. Hats off to you too, man. And plus, you're an absolute good dude, and I can't wait to go back to Brooklyn to get the my next.
You told me, man.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean that's very important. I always try to bring that point out to.
No, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. So I mean, everybody's here for you, man. Definitely. A lot of people came in, to shout out to here just to watch you. They didn't come in to see State. They didn't come to see me. They came to see you.
Of course they did, man. I came here to talk to you guys and listen to you guys. I always listen to you guys' podcast, man. Nice to see what's going on, man. No one knows what's going to happen. Every Knicks fan has their theory. We can all be thinking about these trades for Ivey, and then a week from now, the draft comes on, and we do absolutely shit and draft Ty Washington, and then every Knicks fan goes fucking crazy. You never know what happens, man. Like, you pray for the best, but you expect the worst as a Knicks fan. I mean, I've been a Knicks season ticket holder for a couple of years now. I go to these games. A lot of them are losing games. I leave the stadium cursing my life out, screaming at Julius Randle, screaming at Tom Thibodeau. But it is what it is as a Knicks fan, man. You win some, you lose some, but we all want the same thing. We want to do whatever is going to help our team get one closer to winning NBA Finals, man.
Yeah,
and I feel like this is the right thing to do to go after Jaden Ivey and get your point guard of the future. Like, I think this is the exact moment that you've been planning for the past 10 years by finally having all of your picks and multiple picks for the next couple of years, having your young assets, and you're put in a position to thrive. You're put in a position to win. I feel like this is the season now.
That's what's up. So draft is Thursday. So where will you be at when the draft is going on? Where will you be at?
I might go to the draft. It's going to be here
Okay.
in Brooklyn, so I might go. I'm going to see how it's going to be with work. If I'm not there, then I'm going to be home. I don't go out to the bars. I want to be focused, knowing what's happening. Because if I'm out somewhere and something pisses me off, I might break something. So I'd rather be
And
home
listen,
or at the draft.
I gotta let everybody know too. I said it like 3 times. Well, this motherfucker is huge, man. He's like a freaking lumberjack. So watch your tone, okay? Watch
Watch your tone when you talk to this guy.
guy. So anyway, first, well, for me, on Thursday, I'll be in Atlantic City with Nothing But Knicks, hanging out with those guys. He has a 2-day event there, so that I anticipate that being like off the hook, man. But what is your best and worst case scenario for the draft? I guess we can end it with that.
My best is the Knicks find a way. Leon Rose finds a way to make a trade to get Jane Ivey. I mean, if it's going to be 3 first-round picks and 2 players, it might be a lot to Knicks fans, but it isn't to me. Because I still think that you're in the right direction where you don't have to chase a player that you need in the draft for the next 2 years, and you get your player that you need now to be alongside RJ Barrett.
Right.
My worst situation is that the Knicks draft Mark Williams at 11 and get a center. that would really, really piss me off.
If we draft Mark Williams, I think I will just pass out.
Mark fucking Williams. Oh my god.
He asked me what do I think is the best situation that happens at the draft night and the worst situation. I said the best situation is that we move up and get Ivy. The worst situation is that if we draft a center like Mark Williams.
Oh, can I give you an even worse situation? Nah, it's nothing worse than drafting Mark. I think Mark Williams is good though.
He's good, bro, but just as a Knicks fan to draft the center at 11 that you've been waiting all year for, you draft the center.
There's centers that are gonna go undrafted that's worth it, than Mark Williams at number 11, man.
I'd rather wait till the second round and get Christian Koloko, bro. To be honest, like
Christian Koloko.
Oh, freaking what's the dude? Soto, that Soto guy from what's what he called Thailand, whatever the hell he's from.
The kid from overseas.
Yeah.
I just don't think that you do that. The only team that I see that drafts a big man in the first round, maybe San Antonio. 2 decades straight of having big men. They rely on the big man. They have their point guard of the future. They could go for Jalen Duren. I can see it happening. If Portland keeps their pick, I think they go with Benny, with Mathurin. AJ Griffin, I'm not big on. AJ, to me, when you have leg problems and knee problems since junior high school, going into high school, going into college, and you're still growing and you have knee problems, I've watched it happen with a couple of
Mo, I have a scenario for you that you would definitely accept Jalen Duren as a pick. Did you show Mo the trade that you showed me that you thought we was going to go at it for? And I looked at you. I said, "Wait, hold on. I might do that." That Gordon Hayward trade.
Oh shit! All right, so the trade was basically surrounding Gordon Hayward. I forgot the specifics, but it wasn't that bad. The output that we got, because I think we ended up getting 2 draft picks still in that deal.
Got the 13th pick, and it's basically Gordon Hayward, the 13th pick, and the 15th pick, and we give them, I think it was Evan Fournier, Kemba Walker, and Mitchell Robinson, and then with one of those picks, you just pick Jalen Duren. I think that's in that scenario.
Wait, can you repeat it, please?
All right. So Gordon Hayward, right, and the 13th and the 15th pick for Evan Fournier, Kemba Walker, and Mitchell Robinson.
No, yeah, it's a win-win, but I'd rather trade for Ivy, bro.
No. It helps though. That helps because now you got the 13th pick and the 15th pick. See, you got to do a move for a move. I'm expecting the Knicks to do minimum 2 trades. This roster needs at least 2 to 3 trades to consolidate.
You want to know what I want the Knicks to do?
Go ahead.
I'd rather them keep Obi. I'd rather them trade Julius Randle to number 7 to Portland and get something back from Portland. And then I would try to make a deal that focuses around whatever 2 young players you were willing to move to the Kings to get yourself Ivy. And then you get that 7th pick also.
Yeah, I want Ivy, man.
I'm with that. I'm excited, man. I'm excited with that. Those extra 2 picks, it still keeps us on the timeline on a decent timeline because RJ and those guys, they're young, but they're kind of like leaving that baby stage. They're going into regular school now. They're not in preschool no more. They're going to be elevated to the next level. So I like that, man. We gotta keep the waves going. And as we do that, bring little stuff like that, and then little veterans, and then we'll be able to get to where we need to go. We got to clean it up. Consolidation, is a key word too, man. We just have so much salary tied up that if we can package some of those guys in there to get like just that one vet, to hold us over, whatever, just to clean up the roster, that would be great too if we could do that.
Last thing, I haven't heard y'all mention this all night, so I just want to bring this to the table. Derrick Rose, he doesn't need to be a Knick anymore. Like, no disrespect to Derrick Rose, but listening to Mo, we identified quickly as the backup point guard, right? He's the sixth man. I'm not interested in seeing Derrick Rose and Quickly backcourt anymore. I'm just being honest with y'all. But then the flip side to it is you got the 64-year-old dummy who just loves Derrick Rose. And I don't know I don't know what to do about that. Imagine if we get Ivey. Of course, Derrick Rose is a great mentor for Ivey, but at the same time, Grimes needs to play and Reddish needs to play. So are you going to now that's a log jam. So something got to how do y'all feel about Derrick Rose? Like what's the mission with him? Because he can't start, right?
He makes $14 million, man. You can't really hide that.
They got a lot of money.
But
that's the problem, really.
Man, I thought about every possible outcome for the Knicks. So a certain situation that we haven't spoken about is that if the Knicks don't cash out on Ivey, if the Knicks don't cash out on Jaden Ivey and they don't get Jalen Brunson, I can see a situation where the Knicks end up with Malcolm Brogdon.
Oh my God.
Okay, and I will explain the situation.
Yo, the Knicks want to be the Pacers so bad. The New York
wouldn't be so bad though, because you're talking about consolidation. So if we just package a few of these vets or whatever mixed in there to get Brogdon, it kind of takes the edge off a little bit. It still leaves minutes available for some of these young guys.
So the trade. So what I wrote down was the Knicks will end up getting Brogdon. All right. You can figure out what the trade's going to be. But I see a situation where the Knicks, I know that Brogdon's not healthy, and I'm not talking about what I would want personally. What I put down was that the reporters that I've spoken to, two of them have told me that it's news around the league that if the Knicks don't get what they want, Brogdon's 100% going to be a Knick. Like it's been put out there. And a situation where people like he's not healthy, this and that, I agree 100%. He's still making $20 million over the next 2 years. And where I put it at is that if you don't cash out on any other point guard and you have him come, that means that Emmanuel Quickly's still going to be here, right? A player like Brogdon, who won a Rookie of the Year, who could play defense as a point guard, be alongside Emmanuel Quickly, it might be a situation that allows Emmanuel Quickly to grow in, allows him to warrant two sides of the ball. Because Emmanuel Quickly has become a better defender this year. And again, for everyone, this is not a situation that I want, but I'm talking about realistic things that could happen for the Knicks. You have to talk about these things. So if a situation like that comes and he's a floor general, and if he can stay healthy, then like I understand it. I think it's a lot of money. I don't think it's the best thing for the Knicks to do. I'd rather start Emmanuel Quickly. But again, like I want to know what you guys think about that because I can see that situation happening.
Yeah, we've talked about it, man. Brogdon's contract is pretty long, if I'm not mistaken, man. That guy's making that money all up until he's like 30-something. Am I correct? If I'm not correct.
So he signed an extension until I think 2024.
Oh my God! So the only way
2 more years at $21 million.
So I got something for you, Mo. I'll take Malcolm Brogdon, but the only way I'll take Malcolm Brogdon is if they swap picks with us. I want the 6th pick then. You want to give us Brogdon and all that? You give us your pick. We could swap picks. You could take 11. I take on injured ass Malcolm Brogdon.
So that's where I thought about the situation. If they gave us Brogdon in 6, or we're giving them just 11, that's not going to happen. Cap has to fit. You think they're going to take Julius Randle and get rid of Sabonis?
No.
That's not going to happen.
No.
So now you have to be in a situation, who the hell are you giving up as Knicks? You're giving up a young player to take on Brogdon in 6?
I might. If you want me to be honest with you, I need something done, Mo. I'm not.
The situation where it works. There's one way where it works.
Uh-huh.
The Knicks can wait and see if Shady drops. If Shady and Sharp is available at 6, and the Knicks want to make that move, then they take on Brogdon and they take on Shady and Sharp.
Everybody on this panel right now has been a Knicks fan for 20 plus years. Enough waiting. I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait. The Knicks got to do something, like ASAP. Just please.
The Knicks have no choice. Something's got to give. We just have a roster that's just this like right now. If we stood pat, that would be a utter catastrophe. But there's so much moving parts that need to be dealt with. That something has to happen. Almost.
I don't think the Knicks stay back. Leon Rose should, like, as much as Knicks fans hate the front office, look as it's been happening in the draft in the past 2 years. He has been all over the place. Every Knicks fan praised Leon Rose in the draft when they got Quentin Grimes and Deuce, and they went back 5 picks. Everyone was surprised as hell. So I don't care what every Knicks fan tells me. Yes, I'd be pissed at them as well because the situation didn't happen with Mitchell Robinson at the trade deadline. That's what bothered me most.
Yeah.
They didn't trade Alec Burks at the trade deadline when a lot of teams wanted him, and I think that's because of Tom Thibodeau. I think Tibbs wanted to keep Burks to try to make the plan. That's what I'm telling you. I think that sit down happened between Rose, between Tibbs, and between Dolan, and that next year they basically told Tibbs, "You don't have a fucking choice. Either you play the young guys, or we're moving you out from the coaching staff."
Is Tibbs now? So he thought Alec Burks was gonna help him get in the fucking play. He needs to be fired, man.
What pisses me off the most is that at the end of the season, when they came out and spoke and they said, "Well, we didn't know these young guys can do this much because you guys didn't fucking play them, man." Like, what do you mean you didn't know?
And then he told us that we need to watch games 4 or 5 times in a row in order for us to understand what's happening.
I don't think any fan in the whole country watches film more than Knicks fans.
Yeah,
there's no other team's fans in the whole country that watches ball more than Knicks fans.
Yeah,
Tibbs could shove it. He can't tell me shit. I'm up 4 a.m. in my crib watching Knick prospects and old Knick games. He could go fuck himself. I know what I seen last season. Last season, it's on him. A lot of it is on him. All you had to do is make the right substitutions, bro. That's all you had to do.
Yeah, that February killed us, man. If we would have showed up that February, at least was like mediocre, we would have made the playoffs.
5 or 5, 5 and 6. So all you had to do, you go 1 and 10, bro. What the? Come on.
Yeah, I put this on the screen because I think the problem with Tom Thibodeau is that it's too much pressure on his neck. He needs to loosen up a button or something. Even with the zip up hoodie thing is all the way up to the top of his neck. Like, what the hell's wrong with this guy, man? Going to the brain.
I saw in the comments about the Knicks picks. We have a first rounder this year and a second rounder. Next year we have 2 first rounders and we have 4 second rounders. 2023 we have a first rounder and 4 first rounders again, 4 second rounders again. 2024 1 first rounder with 4 second rounders. 2025 1 first rounder with 2 second rounders. So we have multiple second rounders and we have all of our first picks for the next 4 years.
It's crazy.
So expect a lot of pick swaps for certain situations happening when trying to move vets.
Yeah, no doubt. I've been wanting to shout out on Paris Duggar. Paris Duggar throws $2 at me every day, like I'm like a, I don't want to say it, but he always throwing change at me, like I'm, some like hood strip show. But I appreciate you, Paris, man, for supporting us always. Man. Yeah, man. So anyway, this is the problem with having podcasts with Knicks fans, man, because the podcasts never end. You know what I'm saying? Because it only takes one little thing, and the next thing you know, we got 2 more hours into the show talking about the next little thing, man.
Mo, last pod, I swear to God, I hopped on with Eru. Well, actually, Eru was recorded, and I just hopped on the pod. We were supposed to record for only like a half an hour. We recorded for 3 hours, bro. So
yeah,
that's what
this guy popped on talking about, my allergies. So I said, man, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? And he went on, and then we went on again for like another couple of hours and shit too. So it is what it is.
I'm glad that I was on, man. I feel like we spoke about a lot, which is good.
Yeah, no doubt. So let's wrap it up before State come back in here because we're gonna add another hour to this thing, man. So yeah, man. Mo Tix, thanks for popping in, man. Let's continue to do what you do because you're very important to what we do here. You know, I mentioned what I was saying about the other, respect to the reporters and stuff. I'm always joking around and stuff, but also much respect to someone like you, like I said, because you're providing us all this information, not just the information, just the conversation, and then just giving us a leader. You're a leader of us. You're a leader of the Knicks fans, man. So
Appreciate that, bro. I mean, I just see myself as another fan that's trying to get information out to all the fans, man. But I appreciate you guys having me on. I hope I'm able to get a lot of information for people. I feel like these reporters give us a lot of information that we need to know. So I'm just happy and I'm glad, man, that you feel that way. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, and they need us too because they need us to steer them in the right direction. Because without us, having these conversations, they keep feeding us this bullshit. So somebody like you comes to them and asks them the right questions. They're like, okay. So now they're attracted to you because you help them do their job much better.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I mean, if anyone wants to follow me on Twitter. I host all these spaces at least once a week with different reporters. Get a lot of news on the Knicks. My Twitter handle's right there, Mo Knicks Takes. But I appreciate you for having me, man. I mean, I admire your work and how much you put into this, so I respect you for it a lot. And I'm glad and I appreciate that you had me on today, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. My car is filthy too, man.
Come by whenever you want, bro. Give me a call. You got my number. Come by whenever you want.
Okay, man. No doubt. Anyway, so thanks for coming on. We're gonna pop out before State get back in here. So shout out to State too. State of New York Knicks podcast. Me and him are always collaborating and stuff.
State, man.
Yeah. So I mean, as the season comes on, I'm looking forward to opening night too. So we hopefully we might see each other before that.
Of course, bro. Of course, we'll plan something. We'll meet each other soon. We'll see each other soon.
Okay, man. Yep, no doubt.
Call, brother. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah. Shout out to the chat. Peace to Knicks Nation. And I'll see you guys next time, man. Peace.
See you later.